At the farm, I was exposed to many more viewpoints, and I think that it confirmed some of my views and thoughts, but it also challenged some of them that I previously had. Coming out of that 3-year span, 12 to 15, I challenged some of them that I had previously had. I think I was a much more intellectually sound person. I worked through a lot of my beliefs and could actually argue them, which I think is an important skill to have as an adult. I think it's a lot easier to find out who you are in a place like the farm school where there's solitude, almost to the point of isolation, where you are forced to confront yourself and how you interact with other people and not have really any escapes. You have to maintain relationships because they are the only ones that you're going to have for multiple years at a time. I think nature for me was a very calming influence, and I could leave and walk around if I wanted to, and I think that was definitely instrumental in helping me become who I am today. As a teenager, I think a lot of the growing up that you do in middle school is about not necessarily growing in the sense that we know it, but it's accepting who you are and what you like and what you don't like, and being secure enough in those pieces of knowledge that you can convey them to other people. I did a lot of that at the farm school. I definitely found things that I liked. I expanded to new areas of knowledge that I'm interested in pursuing. Being in nature allows you to sort of distill who you are and not always be influenced by so many other people and influences as you would be when you're living at home or when you're living in a city. In nature, you find a sense of beauty and a sense of time that's different from when you're regulated by external forces. At the farm, there was a lot of time that you could spend doing what you wanted, and generally what you wanted to do was to be with other people, and that was fine. If you didn't want to be with other people, you could leave and go walk in the woods and just be alone and think. And I think that was really important to have. I think farming has a definite residual impact to my personality today because it helped me to understand the relationship between things that are living and how to keep things alive and how to nurture positive things. I think a lot of that comes from working physically with the soil and actually understanding the rhythms of life, which sounds really trite and cliche, but I think it's actually very true. I think that it translates remarkably well into life in a modern society because it's something that you don't learn, but that you can apply in a city. I think that the rhythm of life that you learn from farming really helps you once you get into a modern city environment because it helps give you perspective on what's going on in your life. And it helps you understand that it's not all about you, and it's not all about people. You know you've been fortunate enough to live in a place where nature, although it no longer has as much bearing in the city, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how your hair looks or how you feel because it's actually all about just staying alive and everyone is working together. That's something you learn on the farm. The community of people, the community of plants and animals, and their interactions are actually what makes a place. At the farm school, for example, I first discovered photography. I took my first photography class and found that I really liked it. That was fine. And there's only so much you can do with photography in a 100-acre, essentially a cocoon, and in a 100-acre area boundary. Pardon me. I found that I enjoyed photography and that I was pretty good at it, but I didn't really have a chance to apply it the way I wanted to until I came to the city. So that transition from 12 to 15 to 15 to 18. There's so much more opportunity for taking pictures of interpersonal relationships in places and to convey more emotion. I think that's just one of the ways that this transfers. I think it transfers well in general, though. I think 3 years is about the incubation time that you need to find yourself on as a person, but after about 3 years, I found I was ready to move on. That's interesting considering our discussion of the planes of development yesterday and the parallel planes, that 0 to 3 for the infant, the nido, the nest, and then the movement into a greater society, into the Children's House, into the Casa dei Bambini. Here we have 12 to 15, that nido for the newborn, the social newborn, and then an interest in moving into greater society. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. I think I'm going to leave with Nick's words here, because I think the adolescents, if we listen to them, they say it all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tina, for taking us through the journey of the adolescent through the planes of development, drawing our attention to the adolescent as a social reborn, going through so many transitions. It helped us understand our role as adults in creating an earth kinder, living and learning together, and drawing our attention that it is not a curriculum only that we need to follow, but rather observe and cater to the needs of the adolescent. His need to be in nature, to support his executive functions and intellectual development, and our need to create new environments to support his development. To be aware that we need to offer him only that is essential and key to his development, giving him opportunities to express himself, create himself, whereby they emerge as the new social beings. Thank you so much, Tina. A quick short break, and we will be back by 11:20. Could I please request all of you to come back on time and be seated? I know the stalls are very, very inviting, but if you could come back on time, then we can continue with our day. Thank you so much. Enjoy your break.